I'm Michael Seitz, joined by Alberto Calderon, and this is Cal and Seitz. We got a jam-packed show tonight, starting with college football playoff national championship game. We'll get into some NFL really quickly, and then we're going to focus the majority on the show here on the National Hockey League, which starts tomorrow, Wednesday at 5:30 with the Penguins and Flyers, first of four tomorrow. So let's start with the national championship game. Alabama rolling over Ohio State. I'm not surprised. Were you?
No, I'm not surprised at all. Alabama took care of business as they needed to, and they did it. I was surprised by Ohio State. I thought they would have put up a fight for a little bit longer. It only lasted for the first 3 to 4 drives.
Yeah.
Then after that, Alabama took over. I'm not surprised. Alabama is, clearly the best team in the country this year. So.
And I've said this for so long. But just the sheer numbers that Devonta Smith put up in the first half before, not playing in the second half at all.
Yeah.
It's just ridiculous. 12 for 215, 3 touchdowns.
Insane.
Absolutely insane. So no surprise there that Alabama wins their 6th title in 12 years. They're favorites to win their 7th and 13th. They just retool down there. They're a powerhouse.
Oh, yeah. What a dynasty.
Oh, yeah. All right. So the NFL, we don't really have time to talk about these games. I went 4 of 6 on my predictions. I'm not sure what you did. Did you go 3 or 4?
I think I hit every single one except the Bears.
You did not say the Rams. I remember you saying the Seahawks.
Oh, that's right. I did say the Seahawks. Yeah, I did say the Rams were going to cover but not win.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
So maybe 4 by 1.
I was surprised how close the Bills and the Colts were.
Yeah, I was too.
Rivers should have won that game. The Rams, I did not see them dominating the game the way they did, but I saw them winning. Buccaneers, no surprise there. Taylor Heineke needs a job somewhere, though, next year. I think we can come to the conclusion there. He looked really good. Ravens over the Titans, a little lower scoring than I thought. Like I said, I was not surprised the Ravens won. I did pick the Titans. Saints Bears, what we expected. And then I don't know if anybody was expecting what the Browns did to the Steelers.
No. But what do you have to say about the game as a Steeler fan?
They deserved it. I don't know. It still hasn't processed in my head yet what happened. Okay. And as soon as Pouncey snapped the ball over Ben's head, and neither Ben nor Connor Doe won the ball at the 2-yard line, I knew the game was over. So, I think one of my tweets. By the way, my Twitter was on fire on Sunday. Just want to point that out. But one of my tweets was, I think I, laying on my couch with the coronavirus, had more energy in my pinky toe than the whole Steeler team combined did. Just saying.
Probably true.
Any big takeaways from Super Wild Card Weekend?
Probably 1, the Rams defense. 2, Cleveland. And 3, probably Lamar.
Okay.
And I'm excited for those 2 AFC matchups next weekend. I'm really excited. I got something to say on Friday when we talk about the Chiefs Browns and the Ravens Bills. I like those 2 games.
Remember, the AFC North is the best division in football, no matter if you like it or not. So we should have at least 3 very good games. I think we're going to get 4 very, very good games on Saturday and Sunday. So
I agree.
All right. So now the NHL, what we wanted to focus on here. Let's jump right into it. I stand corrected from earlier. There are 5 games tomorrow, not 4. Starting at 5:30, NBCSN has the Penguins and Flyers. I will be watching that for obvious reasons. 7 o'clock, Canadians Maple Leafs, which I can assume is on TSN up in Canada.
Yeah.
Greg Wyshynski, ESPN here to tell you about
Blackhawks. Okay, thanks, Alberto.
Right.
Blackhawks and Lightning on 8 o'clock on NBCSN. Tampa raises the banner there. Canucks Oilers at 10, I assume on TSN also. And then Blues Avalanche on NBCSN to finish out the night at 10:30. Full slate of games. Who we liking tomorrow in every game?
Ooh, so first, I like that 5:30 slot. I like how they put that in there. First game of the season. You're putting me around the spot. Who'll win that game? It's in Pittsburgh, right?
No, it's in Philly. Not that it matters.
I mean, these are two pretty comparable teams. They're pretty comparable. I think Philly has the edge this year, but I'd say Pittsburgh wins that game tomorrow. Just because I think they're just gonna come out and they're flying. Pittsburgh's fast. Philly,
They're old, but they're fast.
They're a little bit older. I think Pittsburgh honestly got faster with Kapanen.
He's not playing tomorrow.
Oh, he's not playing?
No, he got stuck in Finland. He just got over here. He's got to do all the NHL quarantine and stuff.
Oh man, I like Pittsburgh in the game tomorrow though.
Mm-hmm.
I do. That's a good matchup though because I want to see these two teams in the playoffs. I think they'll both make it out of the East, clinch two of the four spots. But I like Pittsburgh tomorrow as much as I hate to say it. I like Pittsburgh. You like your Penguins tomorrow?
Absolutely. I'll be betting them heavily, no matter what. So I hope they win. But no, we'll talk about more about these teams in a little bit whenever we get to our division point previews or whatever you want to call them. But I think they'll split. They play again on Friday, so because the NHL is doing the back-to-back game things, so it's 2 games in 3 days. Usually 2 games in 3 days against the same opponent at the same place. So it's they play tomorrow in Philly and then Friday in Philly. So I think they split. I like the Penguins tonight though, or Wednesday night. Okay, Canadiens Maple Leafs at Toronto. Toronto's favorite. I like the Maple Leafs to get their first win of the year in this one.
I like Montreal. They stunned a lot of people in the bubble last year when they beat your Pittsburgh Penguins in the qualifying round or whatever you call that first round. They stunned a lot of people, and I think they're the fastest team in the entire NHL.
They're like the fastest team in the video game, so it's got to be has to do something for somebody.
It has to correlate, and I think Montreal is going to win tomorrow. They got a young core with Suzuki, Kakaniemi, spearheaded by Weber. So I like Montreal. Toronto every year.
Overrated.
Every year, man. Even when they're the worst in the league, they're always they're always saying we can win the cup this year. We can win the cup.
And once again, we'll get to that when we get to our standings preview prediction. This is another instance, though. I think they split. I'm not sure if they play because the Northern Division, since there are 7 teams, they play it a little differently. So this is actually the only game they play against the Canadiens for now. Mm-hmm. But I think that the season series between these two is going to be like a 6-3 or a 6-4 sort of thing. I don't think it's going to be completely one-sided.
Yeah, I agree.
Alrighty. Blackhawks, Lightning. Lightning are big favorites for a very good reason. The Blackhawks are not good this year. They're not going to be good this year. Missing some key guys already to injury or was it Taves who opted out or Kane? I forget which one.
Yeah, I think it's Taves.
He's out for the start of the year.
Mm-hmm.
I think Doc is out also from the injury he got at the World Juniors. So I love the Lightning in this. I think they have a really good chance to repeat too. So give me Tampa here. They should make fairly easy work on Banner Night and then again on Friday.
Yeah, simply put, Tampa, they're looking to repeat. Even without Kucherov, they'll make it deep enough in the playoffs where he'll be back and ready to go.
Oh, yeah.
They're looking to repeat. They're looking
absolutely. Okay, 10 o'clock out west in Canada, Vancouver, Edmonton. The Canucks appear to have taken a step back this year. Edmonton still only with 2 guys. Granted, they're 2 of the top 5 players in the league, but still only have 2 guys. Who we like in this one?
I like Vancouver in this one. I think Vancouver, you did say they took a step back. I think they're the best team in the Northern Division this year.
Whoa, the Vancouver Canucks?
Yeah, the Vancouver Canucks. I really do think that.
Hot take from Alberto.
I think they're better than Toronto.
Woof.
I think they're better than Toronto.
They
showed out in the playoffs last year. Horvat, Pedersen, JT Miller, Hughes. They
did, but they lost a lot of role pieces. They lost a lot.
All the Flames,
including their starting goaltender. So.
But we saw what Demko did.
We did, but now they have Holtby. So.
Exactly.
Be interesting. I've got the Oilers though in this game.
Ooh,
in Edmonton. I think they're going to come out fired up. I think McDavid's getting not fed up, but he's getting a little uneasy there. They got to start doing something. So.
For sure. I agree with you.
And then our final game on tomorrow is the Blues and Avalanche. This should be phenomenal. If it's not the best game of the day already, them and the Penguins-Flyers game should be rivaling each other. This is going to be fantastic. I've got the Blues away winning this game, but this is once again another instance where I think they split.
Wow. Yeah, I got Colorado in this one though. The Avs and the Blues. I mean, they're two of the top 5 teams in the National Hockey League, and this series throughout the entire year should be fun between them, Colorado, Vegas, and St. Louis. I mean there's nothing more better than that. So I like this series between those 3 teams.
And then some games on Thursday, Caps Sabres, Bruins Devils. We'll talk about this one real quick. Islanders Rangers, Alberto. You're on Long Island, not an Islanders fan though. Big Ranger guy. Who do we like in this one?
I like the Islanders in this one, unfortunately.
That's unfortunate.
The Islanders over the last 5-6 years have dominated this series. I could look up the stat, but there was 1 year, for a 2-year span, the Islanders won maybe 10 out of the 12 games over the 3-year span. It was bad, and I think the trend is going to continue this year. Or maybe not as bad, but maybe I think the Islanders are definitely going to win the season series, and I like the Islanders opening night too. Where is it? Is that?
It's at MSG.
I like the Islanders still in that one. No one's there. So
I agree. I like the Islanders in this. But the Rangers are going to be better this year. I don't know if it's their year to compete yet, especially in the tough East, but they are up and coming for sure. The Stars have had major COVID issues. They've had 17 of the 27 players that have tested positive across the NHL during the training camp have been in the Dallas organization. Most, if not all, are asymptomatic and doing fine. They just have to quarantine. Their 2 games against the Panthers have already been postponed. I would not be surprised if we don't see Dallas Star hockey for another week and a half at least. Then they're going to really have to cram. So
yeah,
just think about that down the road for either getting into the playoffs or performing in the playoffs themselves.
Sure.
Hurricanes, Red Wings. Blue Jackets, Predators is an interesting one. Tortorella and the Jackets always have his guys fired up to play in the regular season, especially usually fly under the radar. Predators are an aging team, but have a chance to make it out of that Central Division. Who we have in this one?
I like Columbus in this one. Columbus is definitely the better overall team. Nashville can't score. Yossi led them in points last year. So I mean, and Columbus, they're defensively minded too. But I like Columbus in this team. Like you said, Tortorella's always got his boys ready to go and play. So
I'm going to agree with you with Columbus, but once again, I say this a lot, but I really do think it's going to happen more often than not. We're going to see a lot of splits, especially in the beginning of the season. Yeah. While teams are still figuring out their identity, some of them figuring out their identity, others figuring out each other, because they are going to see each other 8 times a year, or however many it is, 8, 9, 10, depending on what division you're in. So I really do think that we're going to see a split here, so it could go either way. But I'll go with the Jackets for Thursday. Flames Jets should be a good one. Canucks Oilers, once again, they play in a literal back-to-back. Sharks Coyotes, Ducks Golden Knights, Wild Kings. And then on Friday, the Ottawa Senators open up against the Maple Leafs. The first game for Florida, obviously, since their first 2 were canceled, I'm looking for it right now, is Sunday. That is against the Blackhawks. That is in Florida. And then another note on the Dallas Stars, they were supposed to play the Lightning in a Stanley Cup Finals rematch on that same Sunday, this coming Sunday. Their first 3 games have been postponed. Right now, Tuesday against the Lightning, Tuesday the 19th in Tampa, is on for Dallas.
So that would be their first game back.
So that would be their first game against a team that beat them in the Stanley Cup Final the previous year.
Wow, that's interesting. That's really interesting. And I saw Ben is out for the start of the year too.
Yeah, they're going to be missing some guys, too, to start the year. So they're not going to be the same Dallas Stars team to open the year as they were to end last year. So,
wow.
Be interesting. It'll be real interesting.
And this year, out of all years, you want to start off fast, because if you don't and you dig yourself a hole in the first 10, 15 games, it's going to be hard to come out of, because there's only 56. And say you're under 500 in the first 15. You're spending, at least a couple months trying to get out of that. Then you're at 500 with maybe a month to go, trying to seek a playoff spot. So this year, more importantly than any of the year, you got to start off hot, And, if you're a Buffalo Sabres fan, maybe you like this. Maybe you like a short season.
Maybe you do. because they have been very hot to start. So let's get right into our breakdown here.
Right.
I will be pretty much directly reading off the article I wrote today that is yet to be published, but it will be before tomorrow's puck drop. Just the season prediction for points and the playoff predictions for everybody here. So we are going to start in the Scotia North Division, which each division this year has a corporate sponsor trying to recoup the revenue they lost.
Oh, okay.
The Canadian North Division is Scotia Bank, so it's the Scotia North Division.
I like that.
So I'll just start right off and say the Calgary Flames are winning this division.
Ooh, you think so?
I think so. So I went off of point percentage here, so my numbers might be a little off. I did not feel like doing all that math. I feel like I did enough here. So this is just a very rough around the edges estimate. I've got the Flames at 70 points. That's a 62.5 point percentage, meaning in the 56 games, they will get at least 1.62.5% of the time. So I got the Flames at 70. Who you got first place?
You know what? I agree with you. I think the Flames are going to get that one spot, but like I said, I don't think they're the best team in that division. I think Vancouver is, and I got them at 2. So Calgary 1, Canucks 2.
Well, here's my problem with the Canucks. They are very young still. They played over their heads last year. They lost Tyler Toffoli, who they got at the deadline and was a huge acquisition. Everybody thought they were going to re-sign him. He'd be great there for the next 6 years in a leadership role, scoring role. Let him walk to Montreal.
Mm-hmm.
They let their goalie Jacob Markstrom walk to Calgary. They let Chris Tanev, their number 1 or 2 defenseman, walk to Calgary. I'm pretty sure there was somebody else who went to Calgary too that I can't think of right now.
Yeah.
But they lost a ton of glue guys to leaders. And I know they're still young and they're good. They're very talented. I just don't know if this is the year, even though they are playing in the weaker division. I don't see the Canucks favoring here with the loss of players. So you got them at 2. I got the Maple Leafs at 2.
Ooh.
And this is because that division is not very deep. No. I mean, there are multiple teams that are able to make a run in that division, but hockey up north, I mean, I don't want to say it's not what it used to be, but a lot of American teams, especially down south, like we're seeing with Dallas and Tampa, are getting really good. So
yeah.
I've got the Leafs with 65 points. That's a 58.6 point percentage. That's 5 back of first place. So I've got Calgary and Toronto 1-2. My number 3 team, I have the Edmonton Oilers. I have them at 63 points, with 56.7%, about the same thing there. I have them third just because McDavid and Draisaitl.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean,
Who do you have third?
So I got Toronto third, and then I put Edmonton as the last spot in the Northern Division.
All right.
Who's your 4?
Oh, my 4th is Winnipeg.
Ooh.
I don't have the Canucks making the playoffs. I don't even have the Canucks missing by a spot. So I think they're going to be pretty bad this year.
You really?
I don't think they're going to be good.
I think Winnipeg is going to be pretty lowly this year.
The only reason I have Winnipeg up there is because they had a down year last year and they still weaseled their way in.
They did, but
Hellebuck. But it's all Hellebuck. He's a Vezina Trophy perennial candidate. He won it last year. They got Wheeler and Scheifele. They have the scoring ability. It's just if they can all put it together, they need some defense in front of Hellebuck. But still, I have them also at 63 points, tied with the Oilers. So,
wow, man, I really thought you would have thought that Vancouver was a legitimate.
I love the Canucks. I love the Canucks.
I really would have thought that you had them as a legitimate playoff contender. A legitimate Northern.
I wouldn't be surprised. Let's put it that way. But I just don't see it happening. So.
Wow. Okay. I respect it.
So my matchups are Jets Flames first round and Oilers Leafs first round. What are your 2 matchups?
So I got Calgary Edmonton and then Vancouver Toronto.
Battle of Alberta in the first round. You got
So
let's fill out this division. At 5, I have Canadiens at 56 points. That is 7 points clear of that last playoff spot. Who do you have at 5?
I would have Winnipeg at 5, just missing out on the playoffs.
All right. I got the Canucks at 6 with 54 points, 9 points clear of that playoff, and the Canadiens at 56 points are at that 50% point percentage.
Yeah.
The Canucks are under 48.6. So,
okay.
Who do you have at 6?
So I got Montreal at 6, and then both of us have Ottawa at 7, rounding out the North. The Scotia North.
I really don't think Ottawa's going to be terrible.
They're not going to be terrible.
But they're just not there yet.
No. They're not. I mean, they're not even going to be like, a team that's going to be beaten up. I mean, they have Stepan, they have Dadonov, they have –
and they could play spoiler down the stretch.
Oh, for sure.
They could keep a team out of the playoffs down the stretch. They could keep a team out of that number 1 or 2 seed down the stretch.
Yeah,
so
and I can see Matt Murray stealing a couple games.
Absolutely. Ottawa is getting young, they're getting fast, and they're getting talented.
Yeah.
So they're going on the fast track, unlike the LA Kings, who are also getting young, fast, and talented, but they're 3 years away from even seeing some of that talent. So,
sure.
But I have the Senators at 49 points. That's a 44.5% point clip. That's nothing good. So,
yeah.
All right. This is the most competitive division, the Mass Mutual East Division.
The Mass Mutual?
Mass Mutual, some Boston thing. I'm guessing bank. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay.
So I think some of the teams in here where I have them might surprise you. I had a really hard time doing this today. I was back and forth on the top 6 all day.
Yeah.
I think we should start at the bottom.
Okay.
So number 8, I got the Devils, 46 points, 41.1 point percentage. And I even think that can go down just because of the level of talent in that division, the level of competitiveness. The Devils are going to be better than they were last year, but it might not show that on the stat sheet.
Yeah, I agree with you. I got the Devils in the last spot in the East division. The Devils.
All right, in the number 7 spot, I had to put somebody there. It's going to be the Sabres just because of their goaltending and defense. They might have got Hall and they might have Eichel. It's just, like I said, for the Devils, not this year in this division. I have them at 50 points. It's a 45% point percentage. Like, it's the same situation. Both these teams have improved. Both these teams, if in a regular year, would be looking at a lot more points, I think. Especially the Sabres. I think the Sabres in a normal year would be looking at a wild card berth, but they have 6 better teams in front of them.
Exactly, yeah. For the same reasons I have Buffalo also at 7. So.
Okay. Number 6, I've got your New York Rangers.
Okay.
So I struggle with this. I had them as high as 3 at one point.
Okay, I like that.
But the thing that brought them back down for me is a little bit unproven goaltending. They're young, and the defense isn't all there. Plus, I think it's going to take a little bit for Lafreniere to click, or find his spot. You need a good year from Kakko if you're going to make the playoffs. I don't know if I see that. You're going to need a breakout year from Kakko to make the playoffs in this division. So, 53 points. That's a 44 or 47.7 percentage, and once again, same reasons as the last 2. That is so low because of the competition above them.
So. I agree. I also have the Rangers at 6. I'm being.
All right, now,
as I was doing, I was being real with myself. I was like, if the Rangers, this is what I call the trampoline year. This is the year that's gonna, launch them into being a team that's gonna be true competitors for the next 5 years. So
no, I could even see next year also as a trampoline year just because of the shortness and the weirdness of this.
True.
Can you see that?
Yeah, maybe for the first half of next year.
Yeah, and turn it on like they did at the end of last year.
Exactly. So this is a big year and a half for the New York Rangers.
Absolutely. A lot to be excited about too.
Oh yeah, I'm excited.
So, all right. So now 5 through 1, this is where we're gonna have discrepancies, I bet. And I could put any of these next 5 teams in this spot right now at number 5. I can put any of these next 5 teams at the number 1 spot.
Yeah.
And there's, like I said, even an argument to put the Rangers all the way up to 3. There's an argument to put the Sabres into that 4 spot. Like, this division is absolutely insane. I'm just going to get it over with. My team missing the playoffs by 2 points, 61 with a 54.7 point percentage, which would be almost good enough to get them into pretty much any other playoff in any other division, the Philadelphia Flyers.
Ooh.
And that might be a little biased. I'm not going to lie. That might be a little biased, but you got to look. They were hailed as this young upstart team last playoffs, and everybody loved them because they were young and fast and didn't care about who they played. That's just lies.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. That's not the truth. This team is older than the Washington Capitals. This team is older than the Pittsburgh Penguins. This team is almost as old as the Boston Bruins. This is not a young team. They have a young, outstanding goalie, and they have a couple of catalysts, go-get-'em, Kevin Hayes, Claude Giroux pieces. Other than that, they are old, they're aging, and they are not getting faster or younger.
Yeah, outside from Carter Hart, this team is old. Giroux's old. Voracek is old. Couturier is old. I mean, they have Lindblom. He's young.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much it. Him and Carter Hart.
I would say all teams have one or two young pieces at least.
Exactly. But this team is old. And, I don't understand that narrative, how you thought this team – I mean, they just put it together. That's basically what happened. And it's
because down the stretch, Carter Hart won like 13 games in a row or something.
Yeah.
That's the only reason. So who do you have at the 5?
I have Washington at the 5.
Okay.
I'm not big on this Washington team. I don't see it clicking at all this year. I see Washington struggling this year. I see them having a couple skids. I don't see, Ovi having the same type of year. I don't see Backstrom and Tom Olsen, as the supporting cast as they usually were. He's a scumbag.
I hate Tom Wilson so much.
I don't see the supporting cast being the same.
Okay.
So I got Washington just missing the playoffs.
I have the Caps at number 4. I have them making by 2 points, 63 total points, a 56.5% point percentage.
Pretty high.
And like you said, I don't trust the goalie Samsonov because Lundqvist had his heart surgery, which thankfully went well.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't even know who their backup is. I'm sure it's somebody competent from Hershey. But, I mean, they're returning the same names. They're not getting younger. It's the same conversation with the Flyers. It's the same conversation with the Penguins. It's the same conversation with the Bruins. They're not getting younger. They signed, like, the oldest guy in the league. That's not helping them. Chara on the back end. He's, like, 40 million years old. The only thing they could do now is bring in Jaromir Jagr. Like I said, I wouldn't be surprised if they won this division. I wouldn't be surprised if they missed the playoffs. So I got them at 4. Who do you have at 4?
I got the Islanders.
Oh, okay.
I have the Islanders at 4. This team, and they just signed Barzal a 3-year extension, 21 mil, I think just yesterday. So, but I have the Islanders at 4. I just don't think they're better than the 3 teams that I have above them. But the Islanders are still they're looking to make the cup.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I'll talk more on the Islanders when I get there.
Yeah.
So at number 3, who do you got?
I got Boston at 3. I have Boston. I have Boston. And that says something more about the 2 teams ahead of it.
That really does. You're making me smile over here.
Yeah, that says something more about the 2 Pennsylvania teams than it does about Boston. So, who do you got at 3?
I got the Penguins at 3.
Ooh, okay.
I got the Penguins at 3. Like I said, same conversation, except here's where it's different. Everybody is on Jim Rutherford, the general manager, for making these terrible trades, not having first-round picks. The reality of it is you're going for it now. You have to go for it with Crosby and Malkin. Granted, they might not be as good as they were 2 years ago, but they are still top 10 hockey players. Crosby's still a top 5 player, still a top 3 player in my opinion.
Top 3.
Malkin is still a top 15 at least, probably a top 10 player in the league. You've got a good young goalie in Tristan Jarry who proved himself last year. Even though Chris Letang's had a bad year, he can play at a Norris Trophy level still, which I don't like Letang, but he still can. But it's the youth in Pittsburgh that's already here. It's Jake Gensel. It's Brian Rust. It's John Marino, who they just stole for 6 more years. Mm-hmm. And it's Jarry. Those are the 4 pieces. Those are I don't want to say new version, but those are the knockoff but younger, faster version of Crosby, Malkin, Letang, and Fleury. Not as good, but they're fast, they're young, they're energetic, they can put the puck in the net. They know what they're doing. So I've got the Penguins at 3, and like you said, Kapanen is a great addition. They still have Jason Zucker. Depth is probably going to be their big issue, especially on the blue line. So, what do you think?
For sure. And I'll segue right into it. I got Pittsburgh at 2.
Okay.
And, the question is for this Pittsburgh Penguins team is, can they surround enough guys around Crosby and Malkin to win another cup?
Yeah.
Right now, no.
I think they can.
with this squad right now, I don't see it. Obviously, they
don't believe in Michael Matheson.
Not even close. With this squad, I don't think so. If they bring in another piece, maybe mid-season or for next year, they definitely can. They definitely can this year, but I just don't see it. They're running out of time. They say they have 3 more years left of prime Crosby and Malkin. After that, it's done. So over the next couple of years, if you want to get Crosby's 4th cup, has to happen either next year or the year after that. So I got Pittsburgh at 2.
I've got the Boston Bruins at 2, 67 points, 2 ahead of Pittsburgh, 4 ahead of Washington, 6 ahead of Philly. That's a 59.8% clip. This was tough because I've not been high on the Boston Bruins all offseason. I've been saying there's a good chance they miss the playoffs, and yet I put them at number 2, and that's just because of the man in net. Tuukka Rask is one of the best goalies in the league. The Bruins are old. They're going to miss Torrey Krug on the blue line. It's a huge loss. But this team, they find ways every year to quietly win the President's Trophy every year.
Yeah.
So what's different this year? So I've got them at 2, but once again, could see them not make the playoffs, could see them at 4, could see them at 1. Put them at 2. Why not?
Okay. So we flip-flop with Pittsburgh and Boston. I got them at 2. Boston at 3, or Pittsburgh 2, Boston 3. You got Boston 2, Pittsburgh 3. Okay.
So your number 1 team is
the Flyers. I have the Philadelphia Flyers. I like what I saw last year. I think they can put together the same type of run that they did. They ran into a stout Islanders defense last year. That's all that stopped them.
And I really do think that Tampa team was the only team that could beat the Islanders last year.
Yes, I agree with you. So who do you got at 1?
I got the Islanders.
That's right.
I've got the New York Islanders with 68 points. So it's a low total. It's the lowest of my division winners. But once again, that is because of the competition in this division. 61% clip for points, 68 total, beating out Boston by 1 point, Pittsburgh by 3, Washington by 5, and Philly by 7. So Philly, in my predictions, misses the playoffs by 2 points and misses first place by 7. It's going to be a tough pill to swallow for whoever finishes 5th and 6th.
Oh, for sure.
So, but yeah, once again, I could see any of these teams going above my projections to win the division. There's 100% a chance that a team could run away with this thing and hide, and just everybody else battle it out.
Yeah.
But I don't see it happening. And the Islanders are number 1. There's something about a Barry Trotz team. He has, I think, cemented himself as one of the best coaches ever. And that's saying something, because I hate Barry Trotz from the time he was in Washington. But what he's done with this Islanders team, getting Barzal now after his mini holdout, signing him to 3 years. They needed him. The defense isn't going anywhere. The goaltending isn't going anywhere. If they find a way to score, they're going to be dangerous.
They are. That's the only thing with the Islanders. They need to score because, you can't play defense for 40 minutes of ice time. It just can't happen in the regular season, because if they do, they're going to be tired by the time they get to the playoffs. And that's when you want to ramp it up on defense. The Islanders can play 40 minutes in their own zone for 40 minutes a game. They can, and they'll win the game.
They can play for more.
They can play even more, and then they win 2 goals to win the game.
Your team could dominate a 60-minute hockey game against the Islanders and lose 3-0.
Yeah.
It's a fact. It's terrible, but that's the fact. And the Islanders play some of the most boring hockey I've seen since the 2016 or 17 Ottawa Senators that the Penguins beat in the Eastern Conference Finals, because they played a sort of trap that got outlawed back in the day that the Devils used to do because it was so freaking boring.
Yeah.
But the Senators got it done for the most part. The Islanders get it done with not a trap, but just suffocating defense.
Yeah.
And what will help them is if they bring in a skill forward, super skill forward who can score at the deadline.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
You said it perfectly. Tampa Bay was the only team last year that could have been the Islanders. If the Islanders
maybe Colorado.
maybe them too with their fast-paced offense,
Yeah.
but no way any other team in the Eastern Conference was going to beat the Islanders.
And to beat the Islanders in a series, not just one game, but in a series, to beat the Islanders, you have to stick with them on the defensive end, their defensive end. So whenever you're on offense cycling that puck, you can't get over aggressive because that's when they go like that, counterattack. It's a 3-on-1, and you're done. Or you just run up and down the ice on them, a lot of movement, and just torch them, which is hard to do, but Tampa found a way to do that.
Exactly. And you saw that yourself in the 2019 Eastern Conference first round.
PTSD. All right, let's head over to the weakest division in hockey, the Discover Central Division. Discover card, I believe, is this one. So
I like that.
Let's just get this out of the way. The Tampa Bay Lightning should roll in this division. 82 points I have them at. That would be the President's Trophy. That's a 72.8 point clip.
That's a high clip. That's
look at their division.
That's a very. I mean, look, listen. I want to say something. If we were playing an 82 game division or 82 game season, and these were the divisions, Tampa Bay would probably win 66 games.
Yeah, it'd be ridiculous.
Maybe even more. So I got Tampa Bay outside one.
So with that 72.8% clip, I just did the math for the 82 game season. It would be about 120 points. So they'd be in record territory, as they were a couple years ago.
They were, yeah.
All right, so number 2, with a big drop-off, 66 points. So they're not even close.
Okay.
The Carolina Hurricanes.
Okay.
That's a 59% point clip. The Hurricanes are young. They're good. I do think they're a year away also from really doing something. They could easily make it past the first – not easily, but they can make it past the first round to the Lightning here in this division for sure. They could give the Lightning a fight for sure. I just think it's going to be too much. So, but I got the Hurricanes in second here. Who do you got?
Okay, I got Dallas at 2 and then Carolina at 3.
Okay.
I just think Dallas is the more veteran group over Carolina. But, as long as there is a 2-3 matchup between Dallas and Carolina, no one's going to care about that, that season.
They are having home ice. They will have home ice.
True.
Especially down south, there should be fans at some point, hopefully across the entire United States. I don't know about what the hell they're doing up in Canada, but hopefully across the entire United States, when we get to June, there will be able to be some fans in every arena. That'd be fantastic.
Yeah, definitely.
So, but I've got the Stars at 3, just 1 point behind the Hurricanes at 65, and the only reason is because of their COVID stuff and injuries. If they weren't all sick and injured, then I would have them in second easily. So. Okay, my fourth and my final team in the playoffs are the Columbus Blue Jackets. I got them at 60 points. That's 5 behind third place, 2 up on the fifth place team, 53.5% point clip. Like we already talked about them a little bit. They play for their coach. They're like the Hodgepodge team.
Yeah.
Kind of like the Rays, except not as good. They always find a way to get it done in the regular season. Alberta, who you got for?
I got Columbus. I got Columbus before, setting up a rematch in the first round with Tampa Bay.
Tampa setting records that year, setting records this year. Could it be deja vu all over again for the Lightning? I don't know.
I don't know.
All right, number 5, I've got the Predators, 2 points out of a playoff spot at 54, 48.5% point clip. Or excuse me, 52% point clip at 58 points, 2 out of that final spot. It's just going to be too much for Nashville, even in a tough division. They're getting old also. Don't have the scoring like you said. Do you have Nashville at 5 also?
Yeah, I got Nashville at 5. But I think that's going to be a battle, though, between Columbus and Nashville.
Oh, I think so, too. I think it might come down to the final days of the season for those two. That should be fun, too, because those are 2 teams that came into the league around the same time in the late 90s, early 2000s. They play on the third and fourth to last games of the year in Columbus. So could be very big there.
Mm-hmm.
So it should be fun to watch these two teams this year battle it out with each other. So I've got our Florida Panthers at 6.
Okay.
54 points, 48.5% point percentage. I would love to know what goes on inside of the head of Florida's GM, who I don't remember his name right now.
Mm-hmm.
If he does not fire sale at the last 3 trade deadlines, his team contends in this division with Tampa.
Oh, yeah. I agree with you.
Absolutely contends with this team. And, like, at least for second. At least for second in this division. But the last 3 years, it's been identical the last 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
Get to the deadline after a great start with a pretty good team on paper. You're contending. You sell everything, and you suck. What are you doing? So it's frustrating because I like Florida. You like Florida. We got a special NHL connection with them through the video game.
Yeah.
But I don't understand. They kind of remind me of the Pirates a little bit, except they try more.
Yeah. And you as a Penguin fan, you possess 2 of those assets that they once had in McCann.
We've got Matheson, and we had Bukestad. He's gone now. We had somebody else from that. I don't even remember who, but we've been trade partners with Florida a couple times. Riley Shane and some prospects went over for McCann and Bukestad. We just traded Hornquist for Matheson and Sevier. Colton Sevier is on the Penguins now.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
I don't either.
So, who do you have at 6?
I have Chicago at 6, and then I have Florida at 7. I still think Chicago. Florida. It's gonna be a bad year. It's gonna be.
I agree, but I think Chicago is gonna have a worse year. They are going to be bad.
I mean, they're not. Really, I mean, listen. You have
really.
King, you have Tate. You have Doc. You have
Doc and Taze aren't starting the year. Nobody knows how long Taze is gonna be out. Like, he hasn't said how long he's going to be out, and he might not play. I would not be surprised if he didn't play. They're not going to be good. They're not. I have them at 49 points. I think that's bottom 5 in the league.
Wow. Okay.
So 49.
And we both have Detroit.
And we both have Detroit last. Detroit's another one of those teams. They are getting better slowly but surely through the draft. They've gotten unlucky in the lottery the last couple of years.
Yeah.
Them, Ottawa, and the Kings have 3 of the best prospect polls, as they should. But they have the 3 of the best prospect polls in the game. All 3 of them are going to be contending in 4 or 5 years, which is what you need to do at this point.
Agreed.
So
start the rebuild.
All right, the Honda West Division. I'll just say we've got 3 teams in this division. That's it. So I'll start with the Colorado Avalanche at number 1.
Okay.
75 points, a 67.5 point percentage. They're going to be battling it out all year with my 2 and 3. Who do you have at number 1?
So although I do have Vegas at 1, Colorado is the much better team in this division. They're the far superior team than the 2 other ones. So Vegas
I have Vegas at 2. So let's talk about these teams real quick.
Yeah.
Vegas, they brought in Alex Pietrangelo on the blue line. Going to be a fantastic help. They really didn't lose anybody. And they have the Leonard-Fleury tandem. They're going to be good. They're going to be very good. I would not be surprised if they won the division.
No.
I would not be surprised if they won their little playoff bracket. I would not be surprised if they went to the final. I would not be surprised if they won the final.
Yeah.
But I like Colorado better. And they made the most underrated move of the offseason, and that is getting Brandon Saad to play on their 3rd line. When you have Brandon Saad on your 3rd line, that reminds me of the Penguins in 2016 with Carl Hagelin, Nick Bonino, and Phil Kessel on the 3rd line. You're going to have Brandon Saad on the 3rd line? Are you kidding me? That's ridiculous. And if Grubauer can put together a good year like he can, they're going to be something else.
You're pretty good. You got the top line, and you add Brandon Saad, a 2-time Cup champion on your 3rd line with Chicago. That's tough to beat. And I love that first line with Rantanen, Landeskog, and McKinnon. So that's
arguably
tough.
The best player in hockey now, Nathan McKinnon. I've seen a lot of people making that argument for him.
Oh, yeah.
So
for sure.
All right, so 1 and 2 are interchangeable for us. Number 3 and right behind. So I have the Avalanche at 75, the Knights at 72, and the Blues at 70, 62.5%. Blues are going to be good too. Don't count them out. They got Torrey Krug now to replace Alex Pietrangelo. Ryan O'Reilly, their new captain. Besides besides Pietrangelo, and then replacing him with Krug, they really haven't lost anybody notable either.
No, they haven't. I think Steen retired a couple of days ago. Bouwmeester retired.
Well, that was expected.
Yeah, that was expected after the injury. But, St. Louis is going to be right there, too, with Vegas and Colorado. And I'm excited to see that first-round matchup between whoever's in the 2-3 seed matchup. And
absolutely. It's going to be a bloodbath.
Yeah, and the division final, obviously, too. So
yeah, then what's it called? They need a bounce-back year from Binnington. He did not have a great year last year.
No.
And this is a reminder, whenever they won their cup, they were dead last or third to last in the league at Christmas, and they won the Stanley Cup.
Really?
So,
I didn't know that.
Yep, they were dead last or third to last or something like that. They were at the bottom. They were in the 30s. So they came all the way back.
Look at that.
And that's when Jordan Binnington came up, turned it on. So he is a difference maker. He can win you so many games. But I think it is key to win this division, not because of the easier playoff matchup, just because of the less physical, the less amount of games. Because I think that 2-3 match goes 7 games almost no matter what. And it's going to be physical. It's going to be hard hitting. It's going to be nasty. So I've got the Minnesota Wild in the 4 seed. And this is solely because I don't think the Coyotes can do it. I don't think they can do it. I think there's a chance that they tear it all down after this year or even during this year. So I've got the Blues at 70 points. I've got the Wild at 58. That tells you how much I don't buy them. So who's sneaking in for you?
I got Minnesota as well. And I agree with you. Arizona barely did it last year, and they're not going to be able to do it
and then got embarrassed after winning their play-in round.
Yeah,
they got embarrassed by Colorado.
That was that was bad. So we got the same group of 4 in the Western Division.
And then so 5, I got the Coyotes. I assume you do too.
Yeah, I got Arizona.
Got them missing out by 3 points at a 49.2% clip, 55 total points. Sharks at 6, which they could be at 6, 7, or 8 for me.
Yeah.
Who do you got at 6?
Probably San Jose. I mean, you can throw those 3 California teams in there. Probably
California
is the best out of them, but they're not.
Yeah, California road trip. That bottom 3 used to be just so awful going down there, and now it's not. So that's all I can say. It's not. They're not very good right now. But I've got the Kings at 7, 49 points, and the Ducks at 8 at 45.
I agree with you. So wait, I got a question. So how many times are teams playing against each other?
8.
8 times?
8 times in the U.S. divisions, 9 or 10 in the Canadian.
Okay. So for St. Louis, Colorado, and Vegas, they should not be losing more than 2 games against those California teams.
Yes. They should be going 6-2 at the worst against the 3 California teams. They should be going 5-3 at the worst against Arizona, and they should be going 4-4 at the worst, and that is bad against the Wild.
Yeah.
So in reality, they should win at least 5 games against every team, maybe at least 6. So
yeah, for sure.
And it's the same thing with the Lightning. They need to be going 7-1 against Detroit and Chicago to get on this pace, to get on the pace that I set for them.
Yeah.
I'm sure they set for themselves too.
For sure.
But to get on that President's Trophy winning pace, the 80-plus point pace, which is going to be pretty tough to do this year.
Oh, yeah.
The max points you can get, I think, is 112, and that's winning every single game. It's 56-0-0, which obviously isn't going to happen. But you got to go 7-1 against Detroit and Chicago. You got to go 6-2 against Florida, Nashville, and Columbus. You got to go 5-3 against the Stars and Hurricanes at the bare minimum. So, okay, so we got our playoff matchups now. We're going to start in the North. Number 1 for me is Calgary. They play number 4 Winnipeg. I've got the Flames in 5 games in that series. Wow. Who's your 1 versus 4?
Okay. So I got Calgary versus Edmonton, and I got Calgary in an absolute bloodbath series. in 7. Battle of Alberta. I got Calgary. So you and I both have Calgary advancing.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I got Calgary.
All right. Go ahead with your other thing. I'm trying to get my computer to charge.
So I got Vancouver and Toronto in my 2-3 matchup.
Okay.
And I like Toronto in this series. I think Toronto could take care of business in 6 games against this Canucks team. So that'll set up a Calgary Toronto Northern Division final.
All right, we got it to charge for now. Right. Chargers been touchy lately. Okay, in my 2-3, I've got Toronto and Edmonton, and I've got the Maple Leafs in 6 in this one.
Okay.
I think even though they're not deep, they're deeper than Edmonton. So I've got them in this one. That sets up a Calgary-Toronto North final. Okay, let's move on to the East. I've got the number 1 Islanders and the number 4 Capitals. I've got the Islanders in 7. I think these 3 series are going to be absolute bloodbaths.
Yeah.
So who's your 1-4?
So I got Philly versus the New York Islanders, and I like the Islanders. I like the Islanders winning that series in 6, but a tough 6. So the Islanders advancing. Who's your 2-3? Well, we both have the same.
Yeah, it's mine's 2 Boston, 3 Pittsburgh, yours vice versa, and the Bruins are the Penguins' playoff kryptonite, and I've got them winning in 7 games. The Bruins in 7.
Wow. Okay. When was the last time Pittsburgh and Boston played? I don't, not in recent.
Oh, I don't remember the exact year, but there was a stretch for a while in between 2009 and 16 where it felt like they got them every year and lost to them badly.
Yeah, sure.
So it does seem like in that series the home team wins a lot of games, regular season and playoffs. So if Boston's the higher seed there, advantage them for sure. That's why I have them at 7.
Okay.
So Pittsburgh's your 2, Boston's your 3. Who do you got?
I got Pittsburgh in this series. I think Pittsburgh is faster than them, and I think that's definitely going to play a factor. I got Pittsburgh in 6. So Pittsburgh and the Islanders. Yeah. I'm not really high on this Boston team right now.
Okay.
So Pittsburgh and New York Islanders advancing.
Okay. In the South, excuse me. Well, it basically is the South, but the Central, Tampa Bay, my 1, Columbus, my 4. I've got the Lightning in 5. Who do you got?
Yeah, I got Tampa Bay in 5. Maybe, and that's generous too.
Yeah,
that's very generous. Give Columbus 1 game there.
All right, my 2, Carolina, my 3, Dallas. I know you're flip-flopped. I've got Dallas on the road in Game 7 getting it done.
Ooh, really? Okay. I got Carolina. Ooh. I like Carolina in this series. I like them stepping up. I think last year proved – they made it to the Eastern Conference Finals 2 years ago. They played Boston again this year, and they lost.
That was the big get swept thing. With the Islanders sweeping the Penguins, getting swept by the the Hurricanes being the Capitals and sweeping the Islanders who swept the Penguins, and the Bruins swept the Hurricanes who swept them, and it was a mess.
So I like Carolina and Tampa Bay advancing in the Central.
All right. Let's move on to the West. I've got number 1, Colorado, number 4, Minnesota, Avalanche in 4, the clean sweep.
Okay. I got Vegas versus Minnesota, and Vegas advances in 5.
All right. And my bloodbath 2-3 is Vegas and St. Louis, and I've got the Golden Knights in 7.
Okay. So I got Colorado over St. Louis in 6.
Okay.
Colorado, Vegas, West final.
All right. On to round 2, the division finals is what I just dubbed them right now.
Yeah.
Number 1, Calgary. Number 2, Toronto. I was kind of boring with my predictions. I picked a lot of 1s and 2s, but I think it's actually what's going to happen, unfortunately, for parity's sake. So I got Calgary, Toronto, and I got the Flames in 6. Toronto's lack of defense is going to catch up with them eventually.
Yeah, for sure. I got Calgary in 7.
Over Toronto?
Yeah, I got Toronto as well. Yeah, I got Calgary in 7.
Okay, so Calgary's the consensus out of the Northern Division this year.
Oh, I see what the NHL did there. They wanted with the playoffs.
Now you see it. I've explained this to you so many times. They won a Canadian team in the Final Four. How many times have I told you this?
Oh man, obviously with the NHL and that stuff. Now I see it. They're gonna get a guaranteed Canadian team in the league final, the semifinals.
Yep. All right. So the East, I've got number 1 Islanders and number 2 Bruins, and man, I don't know why I did this, but I just keep picking Boston to win. They're just there. It's hard to explain.
Yeah.
if you're an avid hockey fan and you're watching this, you might know what I'm going through right now here with this decision. But whenever you're asked to pick against Boston with the roster that they still have and their ability just to get it done every year, it's really hard to pick against them.
Mm-hmm.
Really hard. And I really think the Islanders can do it. It's just I've got Boston in 7. They're going to keep winning. I don't know how to explain it. And I hate Boston, so East Finals, who you got?
So my East Final is Pittsburgh versus the Islanders. I got the Islanders in 6. Yeah, I like.
You're no fun.
Islanders is still stifling the Pittsburgh offense. I like.
All
that.
right, fair enough. The Central Lightning Stars, a Stanley Cup Finals rematch from a year ago for me. I've got the Lightning once again in 6 games. So you've got the Lightning and Hurricanes?
Yeah, I got the Lightning in Carolina. I like Tampa Bay in 7 games and probably one of the best series in the playoffs that year.
I like that. that. So the Tampa's the consensus Central winners.
Yeah.
And then Avalanche Knights is what I got in the best series of the playoffs.
Okay.
The Avalanche will win in 7 games. Who's your matchup and who do you have?
So I got Vegas and Colorado as well. You know, having to pick one right now is the toughest thing to do. And, not only to differ with you, but I like Vegas in this series in 7.
Ooh.
I like Vegas. I wanted to see them in the finals this year. I thought they could get it together. They didn't against Dallas in the Western Conference Finals. But I see them.
Dallas rolled them.
They did. They beat them in 5. But I like Vegas this year and, an absolute hell of a series. Vegas, Colorado. So Vegas.
Alrighty. Okay, the Stanley Cup semifinals, obviously, instead of the conference finals this year with the getting rid of the conferences for this season with the new alignment. So the teams reseed 1 through 4 based on regular season points. You do that with your predictions, Alberto.
Okay.
Okay, so the new order is Tampa 1, for me, Tampa 1, Colorado 2, Calgary 3, Boston 4. So it ends up lining up along the old conference lines, but it doesn't have to.
Yeah.
Mine does. I have Tampa over Boston in 6 games, and I don't care who comes out of this division. Even though the East is unbelievable this year, the division, I can honestly see whoever comes out of there, if they're hot, winning. But if, like Boston, they've had to go to 7 games, 2 straight series, I don't think they can get it done. Now, if Boston goes in or some other team and wins their first series in 6 and the next one in 5 or vice versa, saving them a couple games, giving them a little more confidence, then I could see them beating Tampa, but not after back-to-back 7-game series that go the distance. So who's your first semifinal matchup? I assume it's Tampa is the one.
Yeah, so my 1-4 is Tampa versus the Islanders. Like, it works out as a normal would. So that's a rematch, and I have the Islanders taking them to 7 now, but not getting it done in a game 7. So I got Tampa advancing.
All right, and then this should be a great series on paper, and I think all the games are going to be close. Number 2, Colorado, and number 3, Calgary. But I said they're going to be close. That doesn't mean we're going to go far. I've got the Avalanche in 5.
Ooh. Wow, okay. It could be a tough 5-game series. It could be.
Absolutely. I think that we might see multiple overtime games in that series. I think we might see 5 one-goal games in that series. It's that tight. Those teams are that good. Who do you got as your 2-3 matchup, and who do you have winning?
Okay, so you got a Tampa Bay, Colorado Stanley Cup final.
Yes. Okay,
so I got Vegas over the Flames in 6, setting up a Vegas-Tampa Stanley Cup final.
All right. Do you want to go first? You want me to go first?
You go first.
All right. I've been rooting for this final for 3 years now. And damn it, I'm going to get it.
You will.
All right. In an unbelievable 6-game series. Not 7.
Okay.
6.
Yeah.
At home, the Colorado Avalanche are your Stanley Cup champions in 6 games. They win it on home ice. The first team to do that in a while, since I believe the Hawks back in 15. Hopefully it'll be in front of fans. And my Conn Smythe winner is Gabriel Landeskog, not Nathan McKinnon.
Okay.
The captain wins it. So what's your pick for the finals?
I like that. I predict the Vegas Golden Knights are going to go to Amalie Arena in Tampa Bay, Florida, and win a Game 7 there.
Whew.
Yeah.
So I was gonna say, but I held my tongue. The winner of that, the West Final, that second round, will be the Cup champion, in my opinion.
I agree with you. I agree.
So,
Totally
who's your
agree.
Conn Smythe?
Just to pick one right now. I mean, they have one of the best rosters in the league.
I know. They're deep.
I'm gonna give it to. It's either gonna be Pietrangelo or Pacioretty.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
So, I've got the Avalanche over the Lightning. You've got the Vegas Golden Knights over the Lightning. That's all the time we've got for tonight. We might have ran over, but that's all right. Surprised I could talk for this long. Not gonna lie, with my voice right now and throat from the COVID stuff. But it was fun for sure. We're gonna be focusing a lot on the NHL this year. I really want to dive into this. Love hockey. We're gonna be having a lot of updates. We're gonna pick a lot of games in advance for you. Should be a lot of fun. Friday, right back into football. We got 4 playoff games to digest. And I think that's all. Remember, if you have nothing to do tomorrow, please watch hockey. You won't regret it. It is some of the best, most entertaining, action-packed, TV ever. Like, it's insane. I don't know how to explain it. I love it.
It is.
And I highly suggest even if you're not a sports person, just watch it. I think you'll like it.
Yeah.
So, that's all the time we have for tonight. Be sure to like and subscribe. Comment what you think. Who's going to win the Stanley Cup? If you made it this far in the video, I don't know how many people do. If you made it this far, comment who you think is going to win the Cup. And come back on Friday for some more football. That's all tonight. Have a good one.